All right, hey guys, I'm Donald Diggs,
And I'm Carter D.
and welcome to episode 7 of the Coffee Tavern, the worst and the new. Now, Carter is filling in for Sky today. Sky's out. He's having his own stuff that he's doing. So we're going to have Carter in for today on episode 7 of the podcast. So a little few things before we actually get into the main topic, the worst and the new. I have a bunch of people from Full Sail University, and I'm grateful they joined. We have a bunch of commissioners who are in the Discord now. They're working a lot of different things as far as art, film, and other animations. So I'm trying to make it more of a community-based server, if that makes any sense, as far as connecting people with other people and kind of sharing their arts and talents and all of that. As far as we get into that, enjoy the podcast. I want to say happy late Valentine's Day, but I guess there's no need to. I guess there's no need to add that in there for any reason.
Oh
But
yeah, and for the people that didn't get to celebrate, I feel like there's just adding salt into the wounds.
yeah, so if you had a good Valentine's Day, congratulations. If you didn't, I take this virtual hug. We'll just toss that to y'all. So as far as that goes, we're gonna get right into it. So the worst, we're gonna be talking about the worst movies we'd ever seen, as far as it being from we were a child or up to now. So for me personally, I don't know, Carter, if you ever seen this movie. It's the People Under the Stairs. You ever seen that film?
The people under the stairs?
Yeah.
I have never even heard of it.
Let me see if I got the name right.
People under the stairs.
Yeah, okay. It's called The Children Under the Stairs. So this movie came out in 1991. My mother and I watched it when I was like little. And basically the premise of the movie is this kid goes inside this house, right? I forget the reason why, but he goes inside this house to, I guess, deliver something or find somebody or find something that he was looking for. The owner that owns the house wasn't home. He gets in the house, it is filthy. Like, it is the most disgusting. It's like watching TMC, My Horrible Addictions or whatever, right? And it was just really bad and nasty in there. Like, it was really disgusting. So he's going throughout
Wait, hold on. Are you sure this isn't Monster House?
No, but I'm positive. Positive.
Alright,
Uh,
go on.
police to discover two children who had been locked away by their parents. The film was surprise commercial success and has received generally mixed to positive reviews from critics and audiences because the movie itself didn't really have an actual meaning. Now, the reason why I'm not a movie critic, but this is a very terrible movie. Here's why. He goes in the house to look for something and to get something and leave. He doesn't go in the house to find or free anybody. You know what I'm saying? He stumbles upon these children underneath the staircase by accident. Like this not a like he didn't come in there to save none of them. He stumbles upon them by accident. He's looking throughout the house, whatever, and the house has a bunch of like secret passages and like I guess like rooms within inside the walls of the house. As he slowly figures that out, he winds up, fucking up and getting caught. The dude, I guess, tries to like hold him down. Hold on, give me a second. Give me a brief second. I'm a read this very quick so I can kind of, I guess, put myself in a better way to be able to explain the film. While I'm doing that, please discuss your worst film, please, because this movie's just so
My
terrible.
worst film?
Yeah, this movie's just so terrible.
Oh man, worst film I've ever seen. I don't even remember the name of it. I can't find it anywhere either. It was this awful B movie.
B
Like
movie.
B is in like, you got like your big AAA productions and stuff. No, this is B quality. Like made by some just random, probably independent developers. But oh man, was it so bad? Like I don't know what the point of the movie was. There was like these people, they walk into this room and like 90% of the movie took place in this one room. The other 10% took place out in the middle of like some random road out in the country. and I don't know what it had to do with the people in the room, but the people in the room, there's like this vampire dude there, and they're like going back and forth the whole time. And I think like one of the people gets killed, and like the vampire dude's
This movie
just kind of like
sound
being intimidating and
this movie
awkward.
sounds so
Like
complex. You don't remember the movie at all? Like, 'cause you seem like you remember
no,
a little bit of it. Like you can't Google it.
no, like I picked it up just randomly. So my after my parents split growing up, my dad and brothers and I, whenever I'd be over at my dad's, the whole thing was we would go pick up just some random movies and for the weekend maybe rent a game and we'd just sit down, watch the movies, play the games, or whatever, and then I'd go back to my mom's for the week. Well, that tradition carried on off and on for uh, years. And the one time it's my older brother and I, we saw the movie and I was like, that movie looks like absolute garbage. And my brother's like, no, come on, give it a try. It could be a hidden gem. It's like, whatever, man. We throw
I
it in there.
gotta I gotta figure out what this movie is now. I gotta figure
Damn
it out.
it. If you can find it, I will give you some serious props.
I gotta
It
find the
was
film because I feel like if I say the title, you'll remember it more. But going from back to that, I'm definitely going to get back to that because there's no way I'm letting that up now. I gotta figure out what that movie's called. The People Under the Stairs. So I found it. It's an R-rated horror comedy film from 1991.
it's a horror comedy.
Yeah. It's a horror comedy. It's got 68 on Rotten Tomatoes. But besides the point, when young fool, aka Brandon Adams, breaks into a home of his family's greedy and uncaring landlords, he discovers a disturbing scenario where inconspicuous adult siblings have mutilated a number of boys and kept them imprisoned under the stairs in a large / creepy house. As Fool attempts to flee before the psychopaths can catch him, he meets their daughter Alice, aka the actor AJ Langer, who has been spared any extreme discipline by her deranged parents. Can Fool and Alex escape before it's too late? So, going off of that, now I can because now I remember what the movie and how it went. So, Fool and Alice were stuck in the house. Alice was already in the house and she could never find a way out the house. But Fool gets in the house. That's what pisses me off. How did he get in the house, but she was stuck in the house for years and couldn't get out the house? How the hell does that work?
How was she stuck in the house for years?
Because she was chained up to something. But like at the same,
Was somebody feeding her?
yeah, it was the two adult siblings. But my thing is,
Okay, right.
yeah, my thing is, Fool literally walks through the front door. And then look, when he walks in through the front door, I remember now, he meets Alice and I guess he lets Alice out. And then something happens to where they both split up, or they both get split up. But my thing is, Alice had the opportunity to go outside. Fool went in the house just off some randomness. Like, he went in the house literally, I think it was because he saw Alice in like the window or something, and he wanted to like see what was going on, so he went in the house. But even if that was the case, why did he not call the cops first and then go in the house? Why did he go in the house and then get locked in the house?
I want to know what he was doing so close to this house that he saw somebody in through the window. I was like, oh, that's not right.
Yeah, no, I completely forget. But for what I'm remembering, I think he went to the house because he saw Alice in there, and then try to break her out of the room or whatever she was in. Or no, I take it back because I'm looking at it now. He was delivering cookies because he was in the Boy Scouts, and then he found out when he got to the house that the house was like, there was something wrong with the house in general, because the person didn't open the door. They literally looked to the side and opened a patch in the wall and looked out through the wall. They didn't look out through the peephole or the side window. No, he looked out literally through, yeah, through the wall. Here's what makes it worse. So I'm looking at the trailer while I'm talking, because now it's really helping me remember. So here's why this movie's great. He gets in the house. the entire house is rigged with traps and escape passages and alarm systems. So if that's the case, and they can lock the entire house from the inside so no one can go outside, how did he get inside in the first place?
Especially through the front door.
Exactly, especially through the front door. So if he could get inside the house, free Alice from her chains, how did he get in the house? That's the problem I'm having. He got through the front door. How does
they saw him through that random patch that they opened up in the wall too.
Exactly. So look, not only did they see him through the patch in the wall, but then he comes back the next day and just opens the door, just goes inside. Like, what? And to make it even more worse, Fool, aka the main character, is going up the stairs. As he's going up the stairs, the fucking stairs turn into slides and he falls into the basement. Exactly. So when he, first off, who the hell structurized this house? How are you gonna have all this shit in this house and still have a trashy ass place to live in? I don't understand that. Not only that, but there was like literally thousands of kids in the basement.
Thousands?
Yeah, like there was like a good 50 of them Jones downstairs. Here's what makes
were they still alive?
Oh, I take that back. And now it makes sense because they said boys. They manipulated boys into coming in the house. So he was delivering cookies. He goes inside the house, and they give him. I guess it like he starts picking up like something's wrong with them and tries to leave, and that's when they show their true colors and try to like force him in the basement. That makes that makes a lot.
Okay, that makes so much more sense.
Yeah,
now.
that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I mean, the plot of this, the only reason I was even accepting is the fact you said it was a comedy.
Yeah, so it's obviously got goofball material in it, but even if that's the case, and they tricked him into going in the house, and they try to force him in the basement, and then he caught up on that, he still winds up in the basement. Alice was the only one that I guess, or from my assumption, was the only one that wasn't in the basement, because they say in the description of the movie that she was the only one that was spared from her deranged parents and how they operate things. So that's understandable. But they had her chained in a room. Not only did Fool get her out of the room, but he then freed all the other kids off of BS. The kids literally could have overpowered both of them. I'm not even gonna lie. I shit you not. There was so many kids in the wall and underneath the stairs in the basement that it would have been physically impossible for none of them to have overpowered at least one of them. It takes for Fool to go in the basement and let them know, like, hey, yo, like, y'all want me to call Child Protective Services? Like, what y'all doing down here? Like, y'all good? Y'all chilling?
You guys just hanging out down here? Is this a club?
Yeah, like what's cracking? So
y'all got snacks?
Look, Fool devises a plan to get everyone out right. Here's what gets it real dumb. They're in the boiler room, like the boiler's there. The dad comes in, and I guess he's trying to, like, I don't know, torture Fool or whatever, so he doesn't have the ability to speak or whatever, right? Fool already has his mind prepared to do what he's about to do, and the kids literally rush out the wall. And as they rush out the wall, the dad just turns around with a shotgun and is like, yeah, y'all best back up. Like, I don't know what y'all doing. Y'all best get out of here. Here's what makes me mad. The kids back up, and Fool is like 6. Like, not even, like, I want to say like 9 or whatever. And he pushes him over from the waist down. Like, he's not touching his back. No, he literally pushes his shoulder on his ass and literally makes him fall. How does he drop the shotgun? I'm not giving him credit that he should have kept a tighter grip on it, but how do you drop?
I mean, maybe he was just underestimating the little kids. Like, he was gonna expect a little kid to try and tackle you from behind.
I mean, that's just proper combat etiquette 101. I mean, if you're gonna turn your back to someone, whatever you're holding, you should have a tight grip on it. But that's besides the point. So he goes into pushing him to the ground, And the kids just, no hesitation, just start beating the shit out of him, right? The mom is upstairs, right? The kids have been using the walls to travel throughout the house, right? So here's what makes me mad. The leader, I guess, of the children that were under the stairs was using the walls to navigate around and like steal food and whatnot, right? If that's yeah, because they couldn't go outside, so they were traveling through the walls inside the house to like steal food and like keep themselves alive. Because now it makes even more sense, because the dad carried a shotgun because he couldn't find the kid that was in the walls. That's why he kept shooting at the walls, because he couldn't find where they were at. Because literally every child in the movie was traveling in the walls. That's how they got around without being seen.
So all these kids went rogue. They climb in the walls. They're running around hiding and shit. They're getting out and stealing the food, and the parents can't catch them. But for some reason, they just decide, oh hey, we're just gonna hide here in these walls and not try to escape. We're not going to escape. We're just gonna sit here and live in the walls.
At all. And here's why the movie, I think, got such a low rating. If that's the case, at some point when the dad puts his gun down, they could have literally stole his shit. Not even just that, but he could have got snuck a while ago. He's walking down the hallway, motherfucker punches his arm out the wall, just gives him a clean hook, gets out the house. Like, these are all things that could have happened because they had the ability.
So I haven't seen the movie, so I can't put in my full 2 cents here to see the situation, but like I think the only comedy here is in the director's skills, man.
Yo, it's not even just. I'm glad you said that, because it's not even only that. The fact that the really thing that sells it is the fact that he based the movie off a news broadcast of something similar that happened. So apparently, I guess there was these parents who were keeping their child locked in the basement, whatever. Okay, cool. You want to base your movie off of that? That's perfectly fine. But here's where it gets dumb. Alice, I guess, explains to Fool why they need to escape or how to escape or whatever. And, you know, of course, Fool goes back into the basement and makes the boiler explode on a time limit, right? So Fool gets upstairs and all that, and he touches the front door, and the dad, I guess, is pointing at... the dad somehow survives. And it's pointing a shotgun at Fool and all the other kids. And it's like, if any of you move, I'm gonna start blasting. Like Danny DeVito in that one skit. Anyhow. So
I was just about to say it.
So here's what makes it worse. Fool turns around and says this dumbass line. He goes and says, or no, what did he say? He said, not today or something. Something cheesy. And the boiler explodes, right? And you can see Fool and the kids, like, I guess, like, jumping out the house or whatever, right? And the thing that kills me the most about this movie is that when the explosion happened and the house, like, blew up, money was falling from the sky. Where the fuck did the money come from? Why was that a thing? Why was that a thing that was being shown? It was literally the kids running out of the house, you know, because the boiler exploded and all that. And then burnt money just falling from the sky. Like, where the fuck were they supposed to get the money? Like, I don't understand.
What does the money well, I mean, he was going there to do his Boy Scout duties and sell his cookies, so
no, I understand.
He had to get paid somehow.
I understand that, but if that's the case, then they should have brought that up sooner. You know what I'm saying? Like, they should have let you know, like, like, hey yo, like,
I don't think they were thinking about a lot of things, man.
No, they weren't. Because not only that, when they get outside, the cops and the news are there automatically. Why the fuck weren't y'all exactly? Why weren't y'all in the house getting the kids out? Like what? Like what?
The cops and the news.
Yeah. Like what? The cops and the news station was there. Why were y'all outside Why didn't y'all go inside the house?
Did one of the kids call him or something?
No, I specifically remember because the dad cut the phone lines. So I was like, how did the fuck?
You're lucky to get the cops to show up. Show up within a couple minutes if you call them. If you're not calling the cops, what?
The only thing that I can imagine the cops coming so quickly would have been the boiler exploding. That's completely normal, because
you know what, that does make sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. But for you to open the door and the cops be there while it's exploding is BS. Not only that, but the news station is there. Who the fuck called them? Like, who let them know what was going on?
Oh, you see, the news station knew what was going on the whole time. They were waiting for some little kids start busting out so they'd have a juicy story.
Exactly. So, Fool, I guess, and Alice and them were getting treated up by the, whatever. And here's what makes the movie just borderline just odd. Fool then goes and says, "I'm just doing my duty," and just walks off. What duty were you doing? You were selling cookies. What duty were you doing to where you had to go inside the house and save thousands of kids, blow up a boiler, kill 2 adults, and have money falling from the sky? I don't understand this film. I don't understand.
It all makes perfect sense. I don't get what you're not understanding, man.
There's nothing to understand. He literally did like the guy's like trying to treat his wounds. He's like, "Nah, I gotta get home. I'm just doing my duty." The type of duty were you doing? You came in there ill-equipped.
Sounds like a classic.
Yeah, like you came in there ill-equipped, no strap, no gear. You didn't let no one know where you were going besides your dad, and your dad's an asshole because your dad did not go with you. Your dad didn't.
I'm pretty sure if you're a Boy Scout, you're not supposed to go to strangers' houses alone anyway.
Exactly. But this movie was taken in 1991, and obviously back in 1991, I assume people were just letting their kids go door to door with boxes of cookies and just doing their curricular activity, giving them some sort of responsibility. And I understand that part. I completely understand. You want your child to learn some responsibility, some discipline, and all that. Cool. Had them go outside and go to the neighbors. He went a block, maybe 2 or 3 blocks from his house. He lives in the city. He was in the suburbs. How did that happen? He walked from the city to the suburbs. That's what I don't understand. That's another thing I forgot to bring up. He walked from the city to the suburbs to deliver cookies. He lived in an apartment complex. How the fuck did he get down there?
I will give you this. Suburbs are probably the best place to sell cookies.
Yes, I understand that. But he had a wagon. So that means he, A, couldn't have taken a cab because he, 1, didn't have any money. 2, that means he walked his ass from the city to the suburb area. Like, what?
He's trying to get his mileage badge.
No, mileage badge my ass. There's no way anyone could pay me unless I physically needed to take a big ass red wagon and shuffle that shit down the street. Like, no. Unless I already lived in that area. If I already lived in that area, fine. You know what? Cool. Considering the fact that I don't live in that area and my house is in the city, I'm delivering in the apartment complex I live in. Why am I going to the suburbs? What type of shit is that? Movie just it makes me so angry because they don't cover enough. They don't cover enough. Do not cover enough in that movie. But now
maybe they covered too much. Maybe I think the appropriate amount they should have covered was just nothing.
Yeah, honestly, like dead ass, like nothing, like not a single thing. But going off into that, please describe in the clearest way you can the movie that you were trying to talk about, so that way I can Google it and see if I can find the name.
Ooh, okay. Wow, this is gonna be tough. Like I said, they enter into the room. Is that I think it's a vampire. I don't know.
Remember the year you got the movie?
I think I was still in school at the time, so it had to be like 2014, 2015.
2015. And what was it, like a horror movie?
I mean, it was trying to be. Like I said, you got that vampire dude, and then I remember one thing very specifically was the when it would pan out to the guy that was out in the middle of the country road. Uh, I think his car was broken down or something, or maybe he was just walking out there. But he had this unnaturally high voice. Like everything he said sounded like he had just been huffing helium, and I don't understand why they did it. I don't understand what the context of it was for the movie. That dude had the highest voice I've ever heard.
Okay, so
Uh,
here's what I got for 2015 horror vampire movies. I got He Never Died, Freaks of Nature, Blood Sucking Bastards, The Haunted, and I'm pretty sure it's not Vampirist because he said that it was a guy. Nocturna, uh, Hunted, Let the Right One In,
none of that's none of that's sounding familiar.
a
Like I
vampire
said,
movie.
it wasn't like a mainstream movie. It looked like it had been done by an independent movie producer. Very small budget.
I think it was called Let the Right One In. I'm about to figure that out because
Let the right one in.
2008 that came out. Horror romance. Okay, this was definitely not it.
No, that's definitely not it.
Yeah, no, anything that has romance in it. I don't understand horror movies that try to be, oh yeah, we love each other. No, no, get out of here. It doesn't make any
No,
sense.
this movie looks like it's got some production value to it. Yeah, it's got some high ratings too. It definitely, this definitely isn't it.
Yeah, no, this is definitely not it, Chief. If you remember any other films that you've seen that were just like, bro, like what the hell?
Uh, it's definitely not the worst movie I've ever seen by any means. I saw the new Monster Hunter movie recently. Um,
I
I
want to
love the
see it, but I
monster.
haven't seen it.
I won't give you any spoilers, and I mean I've tried to avoid
No, you
spoilers
can.
to anybody or
You
anyways for anybody listening.
fair enough.
I love the Monster Hunter video games. They're great. I like Mila Jovovich in the Resident Evil movies. Kind of. I don't even know if I really like the Resident Evil movies. I don't know if anybody knows if they like them. They're a thing. But God, the Monster Hunter movie just had so little plot. Like so little happened. Like 90% of the movie is just like, see, I don't know how much I can divulge before it ruins the plot. Because if I say this one thing, like it doesn't sound like it's gonna be spoiling anything, but it pretty much is the entire movie.
I mean,
Uh,
I'm currently playing the game over again, but I mean, it's up to you on
oh,
how.
which one?
There's only one game. It's called Monster Hunter.
What, what do you mean? There's like dozens of Monster Hunters.
I'm talking about the recent one, the one on PS4.
Oh, you talk Monster Hunter.
The New World.
Is that what it's called? Hold on. See, I know the one you're talking about. And I oh yeah, Monster Hunter World. Yeah, I tried playing it. It was too different from the other ones I played, and I didn't have any other friends that were playing it, so like I couldn't get into it myself. I was way more into the older style of Monster Hunter games. So I mean I'm sure if I had somebody to play with, I could have gotten into it a lot more. I digress. Yeah, I don't know if it has anything to do with Monster Hunter World or not. I don't know if it has a lot to do with anything. It was just kind of bad. The story was barely there, and then like God, I remember this one part, like it seems like they're getting ready to go out on this big journey and they're talking about how tough it's gonna be and how everybody needs to gear up for it. And you're getting ready, like, okay, so we're about to I'm about to see this big adventure. And no, they just skip right to the end of the adventure and like right to their destination. I'm like, what? Because just cut out what could have been like easily an hour's worth of content. You just jump straight over all this stuff you were just building up. Like, what was the point of it? You could have easily just jump cut straight there without any of the dialogue. It would have had the exact same effect. No, it would have been better because I wouldn't have got my expectations up that there might have been something good in that movie.
Monster Hunter is a it's a weird lore to it that makes sense. They never really explained where the hell the monsters came from, or if that was just how things were always were. You know what I mean? Because they definitely have the technology to like do certain shit, but
Yeah, none of the older games have much story to them. I mean, like they do have like little bits of story here and there, and like all the quests that you're given. But there's way more story and lore and in Monster Hunter World.
yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree with that. But going off of that, I think that kind of sums up the part of the worst. If you want to grab into the new, or you want to add something else.
Uh, Not that I know a whole lot about it, but I know there's a new Monster Hunter coming out this year, Monster Hunter Rise. It's supposed to be a sequel to Monster Hunter World, so I guess that's something to look forward to.
Run that by me
That
again.
Monster Hunter Rise should be, yeah, that's coming out this year. I think that's a sequel to Monster Hunter World, and you're gonna have they're gonna have it to where you can actually ride some of the monsters in it.
I swear if this is
Which
cap. Let me look this up. Can Nintendo
I've only
Switch?
seen little bits and pieces of it, but that was the biggest thing that I picked up because it's got it looks like it's taken a bit of was it Monster Hunter? Hold on.
Yeah, what's it called? It looks like it's Nintendo
Oh,
Switch.
Monster Hunter Stories is the game I was thinking of. Monster Hunter Stories is like a Pokemon style Monster Hunter, all about being a monster rider rather than a monster hunter. And then they're kind of combining that into Monster Hunter World, combining the lores.
Yeah, I'm looking at it because they have wyvern riding, and you can literally use your monster to fight other monsters. Oh yeah,
Be kind of
doesn't seem bad.
sick. You're gonna go. Whoop.
No, I was saying it doesn't look too bad. Like it actually looks really good, especially for a Nintendo Switch game. It'll actually add something to the console. Because I feel like the Nintendo Switch when it came out, like the only thing that was keeping it held up and long enough together was what's it called, Breath of the Wild
Breath of the
and
Wild.
yeah, Mario Odyssey. Then after that, they kind of just had some kind of BS games along with that. I mean, Arms was a good game, but no one really plays the Nintendo Switch as like they normally did back when it first came out, and the hype was over for it. Now it's kind of just like they don't really have any like games to play with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it because I know it's gonna offend any Nintendo fanboys out there, but like Nintendo has always been kind of a niche console. Like all the Nintendo consoles in recent years, they haven't been like a like a mainstay console since like way back like Nintendo 64 and GameCube. Uh, they're all the games that are out on the Switch. I mean, they have some good games out there, but
Yeah, they
nothing
definitely.
anybody's ever talking about.
Yeah, no, they definitely have some good games out there for sure. But as far as games now go, it's not as I would say entertaining. It's kind of like time waster games, if that makes sense. Like some games, yeah, they're fun. Like the Goose game. The Goose game's on there. It's like $20. It's a funny game to play. But as
Oh
far
man, they
as
got that on every console though.
yeah, so like, how much more fun can it? You know what I'm saying? Like, can it actually get? Now, going from Nintendo, they are releasing another Mario game. I think they've been milking Mario for like years.
I mean, it is the title card of their entire company.
Yeah, I understand that, and I completely get the whole Mario's the main character of Nintendo thing. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like after a while, like it only works for when new generations are born. You get what I'm saying? Because they don't know any better. They didn't grow up playing not Naruto, Mario. You know what I'm saying?
Same thing.
Yeah, like they didn't grow up playing Mario, so I feel like Nintendo waits until like a brand new batch of like kids are born, and then they're like, all right, now's the time to shine. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
boy.
Well, I will give them this though. A majority of the time with the Mario games, they're really good at creating like a really solid experience and like really innovating. I will say they've kind of outlived their 2D Mario days.
Yeah,
Like,
that's for freaking sure. Luigi's got his
yeah,
mainstream game of the Haunted Mansion, and that game's actually really fun. It's a
I
different
never played
aspect.
any of them.
I haven't either, but just looking at gameplay wise, it looks like a more different turns from actual Mario like baseline game of jump the Goomba, hop the pipe, kill the Bowser, like say the princess. It's Luigi is his own little side story. He has 3 games, 3 being the like brand new polished one, and it's basically Luigi's Haunted Mansion. He goes around, he captures ghosts, all to save his brother Mario, and it's a really good storyline. The rooms and bosses are really unique and diverse as far as combat skills and how the patterns for each boss is different. It's all it's all really good. It's a really good game if you want to play Luigi's Mansion. I don't know how much it is now, but I'm pretty sure you can get it on Nintendo Switch if you do want to play it.
Um, that's I got so many other games I've been trying to get into, and there's ton more good games coming out soon. That's I don't know if I have time for that in my very lengthy list right now.
Yeah, no, you're perfectly fine. We're probably gonna touch base on a good amount of them. We got like what's that good half an hour or some change left. But going from that, there's a game that I actually do want to talk about and let a lot of people know. I will put it in the Discord so that way other people can see it if they do want to see it. Oh no, where did it go? Oh, okay, it's still here. I almost scared the shit out of myself. So, there's a game called Young Souls. It's a cooperative RPG brawler hybrid. It launches in 2021 for Google Stadia. I don't know what the flip Google Stadia is actually. Is that a new console?
I not exactly new. I'm looking up exactly what it is right now for you. Stadia is a cloud gaming service developed and operated by Google. It is advertised to be capable of streaming video games to players up to 4K resolution at 60 frames per second with support for high dynamic range.
It comes with its
So
own controller too.
that's what it is. So you don't buy the games. You kind of stream the games, I guess. You if you buy the console and then you kind of whatever games they have there, you don't have like any disc or anything, you don't download it, you just kind of stream straight from their server to your console and then to your screen, which sounds really great in theory, but if I remember right, like some of the people that had it said if you don't have like top of the line internet service, like it console's not going to do shit for you.
Yeah, no. Oh, I see it because you can play it off your phone too. Uh, it doesn't look bad. The controller looks actually really nice. It looks like a really nice controller. But
Oh,
uh,
for the Stadia?
yeah. But
Yeah, it kind of looks like a hybrid between the PlayStation and Xbox controller.
yeah. But going from that, so uh, the game's made by the arcade crew and the developer of One Player, Two Player. They have announced the co-op RPG brawler hybrid Young Souls, and it will launch in 2021 for Google Stadia, and it's already on PC for Steam. You can actually put it in your wish list right now. Young Souls was originally announced in August 2018, at the time not revealing a release date or platforms. A new trailer has been put out. It was put out 5 days ago, kind of giving a more broader, in-depth story description for the game, and it kind of reveals. So, the game is really about Jen and Tristan. They're two twins who abandon their home and wind up getting uh, picked up by the professor. Now, the professor is their father figure of a kind, and he kind of just lets them does whatever they want to do as long as they're healthy and fine, and they don't cause him any problems. So they stay in his mansion, and one day they leave the house, they come back, and the professor is gone. They wind up stumbling upon his portal, which basically leads them to underground. So their entire Earth, I guess, in that game, is on top of an entire civilization of goblins that live underground. So the portal lets them go in there. They can, beat them up. It's a beat 'em up game, so you can play 2 player couch co-op. You can't play overline. Sadly, I wish you could. I wish in the future they add that ability.
Oh yeah, I think what was that we saw on it the other day? What was the like even though you can't technically play online together, you can have it to where like the other person's kind of like streaming your game to their console and like can technically do couch co-op with you. like their inputs are affecting the game on your console, but like it's streaming to their screen, so it's like they're playing right there with you.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna when this game comes out, I will actually try and do a video on it as far as putting that out there. But what makes this game unique and different from other RPG beat 'em up games is that Young Soul's day and night cycle sees Jen and Tristan roaming through Quaint Town, which is basically their name of the town. During the day, in preparation for all night fights through loot stuff dungeons, efficiency spent days such as they have the ability to go to the gym, and like when you go to the gym and you're exercising, your character's basically building its defense and building its strength, so it forces you to like kind of make trips there through the day. They also have a shoe store where you can go and buy armor and like basically like new fits or whatever, like whatever you want to wear, I guess. So there's a day and night cycle, which is unique because we've never experienced that in an RPG game before. Or I take that back, an RPG beat 'em up side scroller game, if that makes sense. They gave you the ability that during the daytime you can prepare for the nighttime. The nighttime you have the entire night cycle to go into the dungeon, and I guess I don't really know what they want you to do as far as that goes. I'm assuming you're trying to look for the professor, and there's bosses and stuff that obviously as you go along and the story progresses, the dungeons will change and so forth and so forth. But in my personal opinion, it's a wider world than what it actually seems, and it actually is a very uh, good game in my opinion, and how everything kind of corresponds and how they kind of changed their view from calling him professor to then calling him dad. But we'll definitely leave some links down there in the Discord, and y'all can look at it yourselves. But Carter, I heard or I remember carefully that you wanted to talk about Resident Evil.
Yeah, I did bring that up. I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil series. I mean, I was, making the joke about the movies earlier, but as far as the games go, I'm a huge fan of all of them. Uh, the Resident Evil 8 is coming out this year, or Resident Evil Village, as it's known. I've seen a little bit of the trailers. I like to try to keep myself in the dark on games that I'm really excited for. Uh, so I'm trying my hardest not to look into it too much, but I do know it's taken a different turn from the uh, typical zombies. I mean, they took a different turn for 7 as well. They took it way out of the normal zombies as well. And with 8, it's taking place in like some European town, like little, I mean, village, of course. And it seems to have a very like vampire hunter kind of vibe to it, and I'm really digging it.
Yeah, because they do
I,
show what's it called? What's his name? Ethan, and how he could turn into a werewolf now.
he can turn into a werewolf. I didn't see that.
You didn't see the trailer for that?
Well, like I said, man, I like try to keep myself in the dark on these things. But what? He can turn into a werewolf? How's
Yeah,
that gonna fit into the gameplay?
I don't, I don't know, but it's seen in the trailer for when they dropped the PS5 whatever, and they were showing all the games like Ratchet and Clank and all that. They showed that Ethan can turn into a werewolf and you can play as a werewolf. I don't know how the fuck that works, but I'm assuming that they're gonna have it to where, uh, I guess the vampire lady turns him into one, or the witch does. I don't know.
Oh shit. That's. I mean, like, I really can't fathom how that's gonna play into a survival horror game. But like at the same time, that just sounds sick. Turn into a werewolf and just shredding vampires, man. I don't. I have no idea where they're taking this series, but I'm loving it. I see they have all the remakes that they're doing, so you can go back and get your classic zombie killing fix, and then they're putting out completely new games as well, all in the same genre. Like, so you kind of get that same vibe, but with like different things. I'm kind of digging that. Now just wait for them to bring out or bring back Dino Crisis.
Yeah, I understand. I see it. What's it called? I'm gonna have Trevor, if you can, pull up the a little snippet of the trailer where it kind of reveals that he turns into a werewolf, if that makes sense. That being said, yeah, Resident Evil is taking a different turn as far as the game itself. I haven't played any. Actually, I'll take that back. I played one Resident Evil game, and I think that was the last one where Ethan was stuck in the house or something. Or
Oh yeah, Resident Evil 7.
yeah, he was stuck in the house, and the dad had like it was a family. Remember that? And they were in like this old town or whatever. The
Oh yeah.
helicopter crashed.
I, I never actually finished 7. Um, I've caught bits and pieces about how the story goes. I don't know the whole thing with it. I've finished uh 1 through 6, and I've finished a couple of the side games and like spin-offs, and I've played like a lot of the other spin-offs. Never finished 7.
So yeah, it's a really different game. The only problem I'm having is because I never played any of the previous ones. I don't know if there's a main storyline to the game. If that makes sense.
The
Because
depending
it's
which
7
Resident Evil you
games.
play, the story is usually very loose and not exactly pertinent to the game itself. It's like they made a game and then they put the story there to make the why you're doing what you're doing make sense. But like, not the story has never really been like a huge thing on Resident Evils until you get to Resident Evil 6. I mean, Resident Evil 5, the story was pretty important too. Resident Evil 4, the entire plot was you're in Europe, trying to save the president's daughter, and there's a cult. Put a stop to the cult, save the daughter, and go home.
Wasn't Ethan like? Wasn't he married to someone or dating somebody?
He was married. The reason he showed up at that mansion or house, estate, whatever you want to call it, I think estates. Yeah, it's the Baker estate. Was it Baker's? Well, anyways, yeah, the reason he shows up there is because he sees a video of her telling him to stay away. Um, yeah, go figure. He ignores the instructions and runs straight to her. But he thought she had died years ago when he saw a video of that she sent him on like a cruise or something. She was on some sort of ship, and the ship crashed, and like the video showed the ship crashing. So all these years he's thought she was dead, and then he sees this, so he's like, okay, you know what, if my wife's still out there, even if it's just a chance, I gotta go find her.
Fuck. Now I feel like I gotta play the game. Is it a cop or is it a drug?
uh I would definitely give it a go.
Damn. I'm not really good with like horror puzzle games. That's why I wasn't really good at 7. But I'm older now. I have more knowledge. My younger self couldn't handle the boredom of trying to figure out the puzzle. And now we have speedrunners. So now we have YouTube to help to aid in these
Oh,
endeavors.
that's no fun, man. See,
It's,
part of the fun of the games is getting to figure out the puzzles and dealing with all the crazy situations. That's like
and you know
it's
what?
like one of Resident
It,
Evil's.
no, you're right. I agree with you. The only thing is with me is like, if I give it a 2-hour limit. If it takes me 2 hours to try and figure it out, I'll literally have to look it up because there's no way I'm gonna advance unless I like continue thinking, and I'm literally wasting time trying to figure out the puzzle than actual main game content. Granted, should I take the time?
Okay, yeah, no, I'll give you that. If it takes you 2 hours to solve a puzzle, that's just a little ridiculous. There's obviously the game's not giving you enough clues, or maybe you're just not good enough at picking up the clues. But either way, like 2 hours is too long to be spending on a puzzle.
Yes, that's why I'll just be like, no. Like I always give myself, and look, I don't. Sometimes I do pick it up. And I'm like, all right, this shit's easy. Like I already know what I gotta do. But just how do I do it? Like I played Lara Croft with 0 help. Like the last one, the puzzles in that game were challenging, but they weren't hard. If that makes sense. So I don't really think I can base myself off a puzzle master from Lara Croft games or Nathan Drake games for that matter. But it was a more steady pace relaxed puzzle system that they had for the game, from actual main content to the action to the storyline to puzzle solving. So it was a very good mixture between the games and how the games rotated itself. Uh, Going back into Resident Evil, but yeah, Ethan can turn into a werewolf. We don't know how. I don't think no one knows how.
Oh yeah, I forgot that that's what we were.
Yeah,
That's what we were on.
it's really easy to like. It's really easy to get lost in podcasts, but yeah, the other game that I want to talk about is God of War. God of War 5 Ragnarok is. Excuse me, God of War Ragnarok is going to come out. I forget what number this is, but whatever. God of War Ragnarok is coming out for PS5.
Yeah, I think for the main titles, I think it's 5 because the last one was God of War
4.
and then quote unquote 4. That was one that I wanted to bring up as well because God of War, again quote unquote 4 or parentheses 4. That game was a masterpiece. That was such a good game.
Yeah, it
Design, the
was.
gameplay, the story, everything about it. It was just perfect. I didn't know that God of War 5 was coming out this year.
That game's definitely cash money because the lore for the last one just had me just baffled. Because Cory Barlog does an amazing job in correlating Greek mythology into the God of War series and kind of making it to where Kratos fits perfectly as a piece in the story itself. Atreus sure as hell came out of nowhere, but I'm glad that the God of War has a son of some kind, or a son to, I guess, pick the pieces up with him with the game, as far as how the story goes and where it's leading. All to find out that he's actually Loki in the God of Mischief. So I'm pretty sure now that we'll be able to use, I guess, his abilities in the next game. I hope, because Loki said to have like mischief and all that, and then it also brings in the fact that they have Fenrir and all that, and what's it called, the World Serpent was born from Loki. So I don't know how they're gonna fucking mash everything together. And then we fight Thor and fucking Odin. So I really don't know where they're gonna go with this game anymore.
Well, a theory that ex-girlfriend of mine and I came up with when we played through it was that you know how like and Loki is Thor's brother and like his adopted brother. Well, we were kind of thinking that Kratos getting pretty old, and they're he's training up Atreus in the last one. I don't know if it's gonna be anytime in this game, maybe at the end, but we were thinking that it was going to be coming time for Kratos to be passing out his mantle, whether he wanted to or not. And I got the thought that Kratos probably not gonna survive. He's probably gonna be taken in by Odin and Thor, and pretty much forced to be part of their family because of his abilities and powers.
Yeah, no, I definitely had the same like premise as thinking wise, I should say, as far as what's it called, Kratos being like, I guess, manipulated into working with like Odin and Thor, and then seeking revenge, if that makes sense. Because they show Thor coming to the house, I guess trying to throw hands with Kratos and whatnot. So in my mind, I think Kratos is gonna get capped. And then while he's capped, what's it called? Thor's obviously going to take Atreus, as you know, all the gods in the Greek mythology world did, and use him for things, so to prolong Ragnarok. But doing that, I feel like will only bring Ragnarok to them, considering the fact that Loki's the one that causes it, and he's Loki. I feel like Mimir is going to be captured again, and then how it's gonna work is, I don't think they're gonna kill Kratos only because he knows too much, and they'll try and force feed information out of him. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, and from a gameplay standpoint, that'd make a lot of sense. They just kidnap Atreus rather than taking him, from Kratos' dead body. And the game would be partially about trying to go back and retrieve Atreus.
Yeah, no, because I'm 100% certain that Thor doesn't give a fuck that Baldur and his two sons are dead. I really don't, because Thor almost killed one of his sons simply because he went home instead of continuing to fight Kratos. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't give two shits about any of the three. That being said, it does make sense to have it to where, in my mind, and I guess yours too, to have it to where Kratos gets fucking like destroyed, like he gets just shit smashed and captured. Atreus gets captured, and they're separated. And our job is to, I guess, recapture Mimir and recapture Kratos, and then fucking run Asgard's fade, and then go back home. Because we're all waiting. I can't wait if they do, if Mimir gets his body back. Because Mimir was a strong ass mage. So like if Mimir does get his body back, he can kind of teach Atreus how to use his abilities further. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no joke. I mean, I guess he could still talk him through it.
Yeah, like he could talk him through it, because Mimir knows how to shapeshift. If you ride in the boat with him, and some of his stories, he kind of tells you that he used to go to the human world and cause mischief and like scare the humans or whatever. And Odin punished him really, really bad for it for some odd reason. So I'm pretty sure if Mimir does wind up getting his body back at some point, because he already has both of his eyes, right? And he already has the ability to shapeshift. And if he gets his body back, then he could prolong and kind of gain more of his magic back. It kind of teach Atreus that same premise, because Loki could already shapeshift. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
And then riding in the boat, Atreus goes, well, what abilities do I have? Like, can I fly? Can I do this? And Kratos goes, all gods have different powers and different abilities. With time, you'll learn exactly what you were made to do and what your abilities are. And Mimir brings up, he said, well, thinking about it, I mean, you could shapeshift. I mean, Kratos could do it too. But Kratos never shapeshifts.
Wait, Kratos can shapeshift?
That's what Mimir said. Mimir was like, well, considering the fact that your father can do it. And then Kratos goes and he's like confused. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never done that in my life. And he was like, you should give it a try. And then Kratos does his fucking grunt and Mimir just shuts up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure. And considering the fact that Atreus' mother's a giant, so I mean, who fucking knows what he can do.
I don't know a whole lot about the lore from the first three games. I never played through them, but
the first three.
I do remember in the first game he becomes a giant to fight off against Ares. So I don't know how that happens. Maybe that has something to do with his shape shifting, or maybe that's
Yeah, I have no idea. So basically, what happens is the first game, he becomes a Spartan soldier, or whatever. And during the rampaging and killing, he accidentally kills his wife and daughter. And it kind of
Oh yeah, I knew about that. And then like the reason his skin's so white is because it's like the ash of their bodies or something. Yeah, and he's forced to live with his sin forever.
Yeah. So then not only that, but the second game, it's Kratos being sent to Helheim or whatever it's called, hell in that game. And he fights his way to the surface, then fights his way to Olympus and kind of fucks everybody up, including Zeus, which was Kratos' father. And then from the third game, it doesn't really explain what happens next. They kind of just cut the game off, and then 4, they just, I guess he's there now. Like, they never explain how he got there. And I feel like that's going to be explained in Ragnarok, because they never once took the time to explain how he went from where he was to Ragnarok. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, being the god titan slaying monster who literally destroyed all of Olympus to being some dude who lives out in the woods, is married, has a kid.
Yeah.
Being a regular old lumberjack.
Because it kind of simplifies that he's at peace with himself. But then the game is about him learning how to be a father, like a single parent.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what made the game good.
That was honestly a really touching story coming from what the game series was before.
Yeah, definitely. That's what really made the game a touching story. But I think that's gonna wrap us up, I guess, for episode 7, the worst and the new. So I don't know if you got any other talking points, but other than that, I mean, that's it for me. That's it for me.
I got one thing. I'll keep it brief. If any of you guys are interested, it's not out yet. It's a gaming Kickstarter. It looks absolutely incredible. And as they describe it themselves, it's
Climbing, what's it called?
oh yeah, I guess I should start with the name. It's called Sky Climbers, and it's a procedurally generated open world game where you can build your own city. You create your class for your character. You build up your character like an RPG. You can go gather resources, and you can tame the monsters that you fight. Game looks fantastic. It's inspired by Breath of the Wild, Minecraft, Pokemon, and RTS games like Northgard. I don't know what Northgard is, but like, I mean, it's just got like everything in it. It looks fantastic. I would definitely take a look into that. For anybody who's interested in the game, sounds like that. Sky Climbers.
Yeah, no, because it looks like, from what I'm seeing, it looks like a good game. As far as its fantasy, it's almost like an anime. Like if you get reincarnated, it gives you that you're a new person.
Oh, like an
world.
isekai.
Yeah, something like that. Because it gives you like this you're in a new world. It's you. You got things that you can use to your advantage, as far as towns, cities, and shops, and then animals that you can train and whatever and use to fight like nighttime monsters and whatnot. It does give a good, I guess, refresher to the games that have currently been released, because right now, I mean, everyone's pretty much done beating everything. I literally went on a rampage and beat Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I went back and killed a bunch of old games because I'm on a self journey when it comes to beating games. I said this in my last podcast, but I'm getting rid of. I already bought a few. Again, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, AC Valhalla, Watch Dogs Legions. I destroyed the shit out of that game. Tomb Raider, the newest one. I beat Borderlands 3. Right now I'm on Control in Monster Hunter World, and then this summer I'm gonna knock out Minecraft, and hopefully by the summertime, Young Souls is out because I really want to play that game. And then,
Man, I'm so jealous. Sounds like you're making so much progress in your games, man. I've got so many games I've got to play and beat. I've got so many games I'm like halfway through. Go on, sorry.
no, you're perfectly fine. Like, I get that because like a lot of us work and a lot of us don't really have the time to play games. I kind of try and like fit the game in when I can, but also trying to keep a healthy like work-play balance. So like during the day, I'll either be working on the podcast or working on Discord or trying to figure out ways to bring, I guess, views to the podcast, if that makes sense. And then nighttime is when I'll do stuff like this and record or like goof off, read comic books, or like just play the game when I can. It also kind of gives me a better like time perception of how long I'm doing certain things. Because like we did this, it wasn't too long. And now I have until like, I want to say 12, 1 o'clock, play the game and then get a good 8 hours of sleep still. So like, it's a thing. It's a thing you gotta do, I guess.
You got a pretty good schedule going for you. My
Yeah,
days all
definitely.
seem to kind of blur together anymore. Lose track of my schedule. I mean, right now I gotta get up at 6 tomorrow. So I guess technically I've kind of lost my chance for an 8-hour sleep.
Well, it's only 10, 15, 11, 12, 13. Oh shit, I'm dumb. 10, 11, 12. Wait, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a good 8 hours. So if you go to sleep now, you can cop that good 8 hours of sleep.
Nah, I'm fine. Cop at 7.
Oh man,
It ain't too bad.
yeah, no. But that's gonna be it, guys, for this podcast. Thank you to again Carter for joining in on episode 7.
Thank you for having me, especially on 7. 7's my lucky number, so it's
look at
perfect timing.
Yeah, so it was nice, I guess, having you here and talking about the games and whatnot. as far as that goes. Next episode, we're gonna be interviewing another small podcast group. It's called S Class. I'll get more into that on Discord and or my social account on Insta. Again, that'll be in the link tree below. As always, thank you to Trevor for editing these videos and taking the time and actually doing the editing, I guess. Or I don't know how to congratulate him, but
Thank you, Dino.
he does a lot of things for us. Very thankful for him. We have some things
Trevor.
going on
You're welcome, Carter.
in season 2. We'll release a little bit of, I guess, teasers for that on the socials, so you're gonna have to follow us on there. And then, but as far as that, I'm Donald Diggs,
And I'm Carter D.
and that's gonna be it for episode 7 of the Coffee Tavern.